for many years I've resisted creating like a community, but I think because of AI, it's more important than ever to do so, and so that's why I've changed my tune as of late.
Yeah, I do think that you bring up a really good point is that the more people are using AI and it's becoming just part of our everyday life, having that community interaction is really important.
Welcome to the My Wife Quit Her Job podcast. Today we are going to be talking about a cool project that we've been working on for quite some time, and that is developing a community.
It's tough. Let's just put that out there in the very beginning.
Well, it's tough because like that's generally not my personality.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. I should have said it's tough with you. No. No, I'm totally joking about that. Yeah, so I think this is interesting and I wanted to talk about this today because you and I are both in the middle of community building. And one of the first thing I want to talk about is both of us are building communities off of Facebook.
Well, we were building communities off of Facebook, you mean?
Like we're not the
Oh,
community.
off of Facebook.
Yes,
Okay,
off
right,
of
right.
Facebook.
Yes,
Yes, we're
yes,
not. But
that's correct.
yes, I see how that was misinterpreted.
Yes,
Our communities are not living on Facebook. There we go.
right. And I have chosen Discord as my platform, and you
Mhm.
guys have chosen
Circle.
Circle,
Yeah.
right?
So
The
I think
platform doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter. Well,
Yeah,
I mean, I think we're going to talk a little bit about the
yeah,
platforms, but I think I have found that even, and I talked in depth with Liz about this yesterday, is that, she had a pretty active community on Facebook so this is a completely separate community. She had a very active community on Facebook. She has tried to move it to Circle and she is struggling getting people into Circle. I know
yeah,
for you, there was a private Facebook group for both courses actually. The one for Profitable Online Store has always been a little more active, but there's a lot more people in it. So that makes
right.
sense as well. But I would say percentage wise, you've struggled too to move people over
Oh
to
yeah,
the
of
Discord
course,
community.
of course. Because a lot of people don't want to be on Discord who
Right.
are on Facebook, right? But that the same could be true also. A lot of people don't like being on Facebook. So there's
Yes.
always been like a fraction of the people on Facebook, period, from the people who signed up for the class.
Right. And I think there was a time, and I think about our friends Paul and Tiffany, who do have a community on Facebook. There was a time when building a community on Facebook was the be all end all, right? Facebook gave a lot of priority to communities and groups. They sort of helped with your reach, but that seems to have come to an end. And so some of the advantages of building on Facebook has disappeared, in my opinion.
I mean, that came to an end like years ago,
Yeah.
like 5 years ago. They already started sucking.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've
So,
seen people with groups work. Like one of the most popular ones is this $1 million sellers.
mhm.
I think they charge like $5,000 a year, and they're still going strong on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will say like there are terms of service with Facebook as far as like charging for a Facebook community. You have to circumvent that. You can't just have a community that you charge for on Facebook. You have to offer something else, and I know $1 Million Seller does.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely some things you have to watch out for. But so you chose Discord. Let's talk about why you chose Discord. Because I did not choose Discord.
Yes. So number one, it is free,
Yeah.
but more importantly, it's got like the best back end ever in terms of like what you can do with it. It's it's like um, it's like communities for coders,
Mm-hmm.
and
Which
that's why I chose it.
Which makes sense because a lot of the groups that are very popular on Discord seem to be more tech focused and based. From what I've seen, I'm not a Discord expert.
I'm not either actually, but it started out as like a gaming platform, right?
Right,
I
right.
actually when I first got introduced to Discord, it was because I was playing games with my buddies, and there's ties to it. Like it knows like who's logged into what game, and then you can just
Mm.
chat on Discord as you're playing the game.
How can you chat as you're playing? Is it audio chat, I guess?
Oh yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah,
audio chat.
okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
not
I'm
video
trying to
chat.
envision you typing with one hand and playing the game with the other hand. I was like, that
But
doesn't
like
make a
you
lot of
can
sense.
integrate like a payment platform. You can
Mm-hmm.
integrate. We've integrated like Steve Bot and Tony Bot and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. And we are moving this community also over to our conference, the Seller Summit. And we should have done this a long time ago. It's just
Yeah.
I got too many projects. But anytime someone goes to an event, they want to be able to keep in touch with people
Mm-hmm.
afterwards. And so we have Seller Summit bot also, which has read in all of the talks, and you can query it like ChatGPT.
I'm actually excited about that because we do get a lot of questions about talks, and it's like I can't remember what year. In fact, I was talking last week at ECF to Dana, who gave one of our closing keynotes, and I was like, "Yeah, 2024," and she's like, "No, it was 2023," and I was like, "No, 2024," and she's like, "No, I'm pretty sure it was 2023," and then I was like, "You're right, Bill was 2024." So I just, it's too much information, right? I don't remember all of that off the top of my head. Who spoke on what when? I don't probably don't even know what I spoke on what when.
I think the content is the problem, right? Like, oh, I remember that speaker said this one thing. Like, what was it? And now
Yeah.
you can ask it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I will say, as someone who's new to Discord, watching you build it and then being in the community, I do think that it's pretty cool, everything that you can do and all the features and the different groups. I'm still learning how to use it. I'm definitely not a power user of Discord, but I can see the appeal from your end because you can figure out the back end of it.
I mean, it's like really, it's just Slack on steroids, is really what it is,
Yeah.
right? But let me tell you, it's a lot more engaged than Facebook, for
Mm-hmm.
sure. Like Facebook was crickets. Whereas like on the Discord group, I see messages come in all the time, people using the bot, people interacting with each other. And just the other day, for the very first time, actually, I saw two people in a voice chat room together.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
pretty
That was the
exciting.
first time I'd seen that.
I've
Yeah.
seen it happen once or twice on there, but I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um, so one of the things that I think is interesting about using any platform off Facebook is as the admin, as the moderator. I know for me, because I've moderated in many Facebook groups, if you get tagged in something, you're right, you get that notification. It comes through with all of your other Facebook notifications. So Facebook notifications from my mother, and when people comment on a photo or your memory or whatever it is, right? Like, so I'll open Facebook and it's like you have 300 notifications, right? And so to find where people are mentioning you in a group that you are managing and, potentially people are paying to be in, it gets really tough, right? It's very easy to miss stuff in a Facebook group. Every time I get tagged in Discord, I know it, right? Like it's very clear to me that like someone is asking me a question or mentioning me. So I do think, and I would say the same goes for other platforms as well outside of Facebook. But I do think that's one of the huge positives of building something off of Facebook is that as the moderator, your ability to see what's happening seems to be greater.
I mean, the downside, of course, is like not many people use Discord
Right.
comparatively, right?
Yeah.
And for some reason, I think Discord's onboarding is a little messed up
Yeah, so
because,
let's talk about
yeah,
that because that is where I have seen a lot of people have an issue, and maybe it's because we're only letting certain people in. You have to be a paid course member. I'm not sure. You could talk about how you set that up and what
I
people
don't
are
even think
struggling
that's
with.
the problem.
It's
Uh,
just the people? No.
no, 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 it's got nothing to do with the people actually, because I actually managed to reproduce one of the problems that someone had.
Mm-hmm.
And it stems from the fact that if you don't have like the app installed, no, I think if you have the app installed on your computer, but you're using the web interface
Mm-hmm.
or some combination of the two, it's been a couple weeks now. When you get invited to a group, it like tries to create a new account for you, even though
Mm.
you already have one, and then you end up with like a million accounts.
Oh, okay.
That like that's the issue, and I don't know. It didn't happen to me. It didn't happen to you, but
Mm-hmm.
I did reproduce it by just creating a whole new account on a fresh computer.
Yeah. Well, I did
So
have a glitch getting into the Seller Summit account, but then I was actually anyway. There was it can be
yeah,
glitchy. I have found.
yeah.
But also when I get a technical glitch, I just assume it's me.
All right. So here's what's cool about Discord. Like in the back end, you can approve people to be able to see certain threads or groups,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you can automate that pretty easily. So basically, within the course, like the membership site where you have to log in, there's a button that you have to push to get approved.
Mm-hmm.
And then after you hit that button, which can only be accessed if you're actually a member, then you get access to all the stuff, right?
Gotcha. So let's just say that I am me. How hard is it for me to build what you've built on Discord?
I mean, I think it just depends because I didn't know anything about it. I basically vibe coded my way through it.
Okay.
And even though I was vibe coding my way through it, it actually was very confusing. Because Discord is all this like terminology and all this stuff, so it's a little hard to understand. So now I'm a little more familiar with it, but when I first
Mm-hmm.
started, it's actually a little intimidating. It's not like your typical vibe coded project, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you could do it. You know, I've seen you and Liz create apps and whatnot. You could do it. It's just not. There's a learning curve, basically.
Yeah, so let me compare that to Circle because that's what we're using. And, obviously there's a big differentiator in that Circle is not free, right? You pay monthly. And the one thing that Liz and I were chatting about yesterday that I don't like about Circle is that there's a couple tiers. And we've talked about this a lot in the course, right? Companies nickel and dime you, right? They give you the base thing and you get like bare minimum. And then it's like, oh, but if you pay $50 more a month, you'll get this feature. But then if you want the really cool feature, so one of the features that I wanted was to be able to like send a blast notification when accountability starts, right? Our accountability hour or half hour. And of course, that's on a tier that we're not on, right? And we're not willing to pay for that right now. So obviously, everyone's in ConvertKit. I can email them from ConvertKit. It actually is not that big of a deal, but it would be really nice to have that feature as part of the plan that we're paying for, but it's not. I would say setup wise with Circle, like the Uber, it's like ordering an Uber. So simple, right? It guides you through everything, tells you exactly what to do. One of the issues that Liz ran into that she finds as like a pet peeve for Circle is that every single thing that you build in Circle requires a different size graphic. So, and they don't resize it for you. So you have to then like resize your own graphics and put them up there. So it's nothing is standard across the board. So if it's like an events page, it's this size graphic. If it's this kind of page, it's this size graphic, which, that's one of those like nitpicky type things. I feel like Circle could fix that very easily, right? In their own back end. But, if we're going to do a true review of it, that is one of the negatives. But I like it because it's very similar to Discord in that you can have different buckets of people, right? So like where you and I see like everything in Discord, I see everything in Circle. If you're part of, one group, that's a totally private group and it's not seen. So, and I don't know about Discord with this, but like the two people that got on the phone call, right? The voice chat.
Yeah.
Can someone else just automatically join that chat or is it private between those two people?
They can join, but you know, they can say, "Hey, this is a private chat," and then that guy would leave.
Maybe.
Maybe, maybe not. Well, I mean, worst case, they would just DM each other and then join the private chat.
Right.
Like the ones that I saw were like technically like meeting rooms within
Yeah.
the Discord. They could easily just have their own private conversation on Discord if they wanted to. Hey, just a quick heads up. Tickets for my annual e-commerce conference, the Seller Summit, are now on sale over at sellersummit.com. If you run an e-commerce business selling physical products, this event was built for you. Unlike typical events filled with broad advice and feel-good stories, the Seller Summit is all about real strategies you can actually use. Every speaker I invite is deep in the trenches, running their own store and dealing with the same challenges you face every single day. Now, we keep the event intentionally small, just 200 people, so it stays intimate, and you actually get time to connect, ask questions, and have meaningful conversations. I've sold out every single year for the past 9 years. And if your store is already doing over $250K or $1 million in revenue, we also run a private mastermind with other top sellers in the space. You can learn more and grab your ticket over at sellersummit.com. Now back to the show.
Yeah. So, so basically you can do those private rooms where, only certain people have access to, which you can do in Discord because we have different buckets of people. Like if you're in Seller Summit, you don't have access to Profitable Online Store unless you're also a member of that course. So there is a lot of flexibility with those types of things. And I would say just overall, if you have zero tech experience, if you don't want to vibe code or haven't figured that out yet, Circle is a good option. It is expensive. I think the plan we're on is $100 a month, that's expensive.
But the people who join don't have to pay, obviously, right?
So it's a paid community. So yes, they do have to pay,
Well,
but they don't
that's
have
not
to
what
pay.
I
They don't
meant.
have to pay to use Circle. Correct.
Right. Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I meant.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
And that's all integrated, right? The payment plan and everything is integrated within Circle, which I know for you, I think you had to integrate. You're going to have to integrate that at some point.
Yeah. I will. Yeah. For Circle though, is there an app also, like a phone app that works pretty well?
I think I actually only use it on desktop, but I can only assume there's a phone app. So yes.
Okay.
So
I would just think that Discord has more of a user base than Circle, right? Just because Discord's been around longer
yeah,
in a different community. I guess my only concern is like these guys are not because I have a friend who's pretty high up over there.
yeah,
Pretty sure they're not making any money,
really
and they'll need to. Well, it's one of these venture backed companies
true. Yeah,
designed to grow, right?
yeah.
So
And then it's going way, way back. I mean, I remember when I first met you, you had your community on a forum.
yeah, that was the biggest disaster ever.
But I can't even remember. Was that something that you built within WordPress or was that
No, I
something
didn't build
completely different?
anything. It was just a
Okay.
plugin. It was a
A
WordPress
plugin.
plugin that had a nice forum on there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the problem was that, in order to respond, you had to log in,
Mm.
post your reply, and no one was logging in.
Yeah.
And that's why I asked about the app. I think the app is important because when people have it on their phone, like I do,
Yeah.
like you get a little notification. You can mute certain threads, you can mute certain people even.
Am
And
I
that way
muted?
when
Am I muted on your Discord?
that way when you get a notification, you can just reply to it right away.
Yeah. So
You know?
it's interesting because one of my clients moved to Slack a couple months ago. They were using Voxer, which I did not love at all. Um, and I really hesitated putting Slack on my phone because typically I'm in front of my computer every day from 8 to 5, with bathroom breaks, whatever. But what I didn't want was to be away from my computer, at 7:30 on a Friday night and have like ding, 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 Slack, Slack, Slack. I feel a little bit the same way with Discord as the community owner, right? Like not as a user, but as the owner, I feel like I really don't want to, because my personality type is one. If someone says something, I feel very obligated to respond, right? I feel very obligated to interact like immediately. And so I don't like having it on my phone because I feel like that's sort of the boundary. But I
Mm,
also ended up when I was traveling putting Slack on my phone because I was like, well, there are going to be times, that I don't have my computer open and I want to be able to answer people's questions in a quick way. But yeah, I don't know. The phone app to me is, as a user though, I think it's a really cool feature.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think an app is essential because if there's any friction at all in responding, people are just
Yes.
aren't going to respond. And what's also important is that you get like a little email saying you have unresponded
Mm-hmm.
requests and whatnot.
Yeah.
Just little things like that. I don't know. For many years, I've resisted creating like a community, but I think because of AI, it's more important than ever to do so, and so that's why I've changed my tune as of late.
Yeah, I do think that you bring up a really good point is that the more AI, the more people are using AI and it's becoming just part of our everyday life, having that community interaction is really important. I felt that way a little bit at ECF this year, right? It was just really nice to see people and talk to people and
Yeah.
not ask ChatGPT all of my life questions. Um, Actually, our friend Dana was telling me that she's created like a whole like therapy session with ChatGPT by inputting a bunch of different things. It's way too complicated to get into right now, but I don't know. I feel like when I have any kind of question, I immediately ask Chat before I ask anybody else now.
Hmm.
Um, so to me, it was like really nice to sit and talk to people at ECF.
Well, isn't chat nicer?
Not that ECF people, they're very, it's like Seller Summit people. They're all very, very nice. But yeah, so one of the things that you're doing, so my circle community is paid.
Right.
Liz's circle community for Fluencer Fruit, you get it with the tool, right? So that you're doing something similar with that. If
Right.
you're in the course, you get the community as part of the. I don't want to say it's a bonus, but it is a bonus. I think those things are great bonuses. If you are doing a course, having that community is a great add-on to add value to what you're selling. But you're thinking about, and I don't know where we are on this, but you're thinking about adding it as an option to people who are not in the course. They're not now before everyone in the course flips out on me. They're not in the course community. There will be
That's correct. Yeah, they'll be
another
separate.
there'll be
Yeah.
another bucket of, we'll just call, another bucket of people who aren't as cool as our course members. Let's just make that very clear to our course members, who will have access. Let's talk about that a little bit because that feels like a huge gamble as far as your time.
It's not a gamble. I mean, worst case, I just refund everyone and call it a day, right?
Worst case, you
Uh,
just shut it down. I made a terrible mistake. I don't want to talk to you.
um, okay, so here's the problem. So I've been raising the price of my class
Hmm.
over the years, and I just literally raised it this past week.
What is it priced at now? I'm curious.
It's 2,500 now, but
That's okay. In
it's
the
not
world
a
of
lot.
courses, that's
Yeah,
cheap. Most of them are $5,000.
I actually added a $5,000 tier also.
What is that? They
That's
get to
part.
come to your house and play
No, they
croquet?
get quarterly one-on-one consults for the year, and then they get um, a tear down of their business.
I'm not involved in those consults, right? Just make sure you didn't put my face on that.
A- Actually, you're the one giving the consults, and I was going to give you a little cut.
Right,
So,
right. Here's your $17 for your hour consult.
yeah, we'll see how that goes. But I think the purpose of that, even if no one signs up, is that it anchors the price higher, so that when you
Yeah,
just pay for the regular course, it seems cheaper.
yeah.
So it serves two purposes. But
Watch you
uh,
get so many people sign up for that. You're gonna be like, just kidding. I'm refunding you all
I
twenty
know.
five hundred dollars.
Well, yeah, we'll see how that goes. But I think if someone signs up for that, I know they're going to be serious.
Yes.
And when that happens, like I'll probably want to talk to them because
Well,
I know that they're serious.
we
Yeah.
get this question a lot actually in webinars is how much is it just to talk to you, right? I
Yes.
mean, I would say that question, it's come up in every single webinar, usually multiple times, and usually also in email questions, we get it as well. And we've always said we don't do that, right? It's just not,
Yep.
we don't have the bandwidth. So now you've changed that for Profitable Online Store to, what is it, quarterly, you said?
Quarterly. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see how it goes. If it's overwhelming, then I'm just going to take off the tier. It's very
You'll
simple.
just climb down from your pile of money and, and cancel.
I'll just say sorry. We're not doing this tier
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, okay. So back to the community. So the reason why is because I've been raising the prices, and literally the price went up like this week,
Mm-hmm.
and just before like the day it was going to go up, I got a bunch of emails saying this is so expensive, like I can't afford it. Why are you like gouging people, whatever
Mm-hmm.
comments
Yeah.
like that. And I was thinking to myself, okay, well, you know I'm not willing to lower the price,
Right.
and maybe the real solution is to have a tier that's much more affordable for those people who can't afford it, who actually still want to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought the best way to do that would be to create a community where they can ask questions, and I can chime in with answers, or the community can chime with answers, and then we have like just like one time every week where we go live and just kind of answer questions as a group, right? And yeah, I mean that's the purpose. Also, the secondary purpose of having the community is to just get to know more people and just kind
Mm-hmm.
of understand what people are looking for. Like
Yeah.
I'm always living in this bubble, since I don't like I told you before, like I'm not really a community person.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that hurts me because I don't really have a strong pulse on what like people want or what they're looking for and whatnot.
Right.
So yeah.
Okay. So if someone joins the paid community, they're not a course member. So they don't have access to the lessons. They don't have access to office hours.
Right.
So they're getting questions answered in the community as well as you're going to go live once a week and talk about it.
So they get a number of things. Okay,
Okay.
so they're gonna get the Steve bot of the blog portion, so they can instantly look up
Hmm.
anything that I've ever answered on the blog really quickly, and it'll
Yeah.
link them back to the post and answer the question. They'll also get the podcast bot, which
Hmm.
allows them to query any podcast with anyone that I've ever done with their
Mm-hmm.
questions. And they'll also get my YouTube bot, which has all of my YouTube videos that I've ever done, about e-commerce. I'm probably not going to create the bot for like, my, I like to call them my fluff pieces or my rants and whatnot. I don't think that's useful, but any tutorial I've done on YouTube,
Right.
I will create into a bot also.
Okay.
And so they'll get, I guess, like an encyclopedia of everything that I've done outside of the class,
Yeah.
obviously.
So what do you have a price yet on this or are you still mulling that over?
No, no. I mean, we just got back from ECF, Tony.
I
I, I,
know.
I
I
haven't, I
know.
haven't thought about this.
I'm trying to think of like I'm just thinking to myself, what would that be worth to somebody? I feel like So podcasts are terrible to search, right? YouTube videos are hard to, right? Like, so to me, the value in the blog posts are probably the easiest thing to search, right? You go to My Wife Quit Her Job to the blog, you put in a search query, you're probably going to get an answer, I would say, most likely.
I think you would probably just more likely search Google.
Well, if I wanted
Actually,
to know
no, I
your
take that
opinion on
back. It's
something,
not
I
easy
would.
to even find the blog post, right? Because a lot of times you have one specific question and you don't
Yeah.
want to sift through like a 2,000 word post to find that answer, right?
True, true.
Yeah,
But I would say, like, having searched your blog for many things before, because I've used it in like promotional stuff and looking, like the blog search to me is the least valuable. Not to say it's not
probably.
valuable, but it definitely will cut off time. But the podcast and the YouTube to me are huge, right? Because there's no possible way I'm going to be able to search your YouTube for something. Uh, and same with the podcast as well. So to me, that are two extremely high value adds. So my concern for you, like as we're friends, is that what's an acceptable price point that keeps the community full of people that are truly wanting to learn and start a business or grow their business versus like the looky loos.
I'm not even worried about that at all.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm going to start it out
Just
cheap.
gonna ban them and you're just like
Right.
refund Steve today. I'm just gonna refund him. It's no big deal.
It'll start out cheap. I don't even know
Mm-hmm.
what that price is going to be.
Yeah.
And then if it's popular, then I'll just raise the price.
Yeah.
Like if it gets overwhelming, like that'll be my threshold. Like if I feel like this is like running on a treadmill, then I'll just raise the
Yeah.
price and reduce the demand.
That will be 6 people in the community, guys, just so you know. He will be overwhelmed.
But I mean, there's benefits for me too outside of just the money. Like the money to me in this particular case, at least in the first iteration, is
Mm-hmm.
going to be what I call like maintenance costs.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll
Yeah.
probably use that money maybe to hire a moderator
Mm-hmm.
to just make sure things are
Right.
okay.
Right.
And then what's nice about the community also is, they're going to be asking me questions. They're going to be asking me what tools I use, so that leads to affiliate. It's also kind of like a gateway drug into the main classes.
Mm-hmm.
It's also, if people get to know each other, they probably want to hang out in person, so that might lead to more people coming to Seller Summit.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of benefits outside of just the membership fee. So that's the way I think about it right now. And it's not like you decide on one thing and it's set in stone, right?
Right.
Like
Right.
if it's overwhelming, you just my biggest fear actually is the spam problem. Like
Mm-hmm.
even if you're paying, like there's always going to be people who cause a ruckus. Like I've chatted with Andrew who runs ECF about this. I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
gets out of hand like all the time,
Yeah.
and that is my biggest fear
Is the ruckus.
is the ruckus. And as another mutual friend that we know, like you can't just like ban someone
Right.
because then they'll cause an even bigger ruckus
Right.
outside. Like so, one of
Right.
our friends, for anyone who's listening, he got canceled basically
Yes.
for saying something on the forum, and then I think he ended up just banning the people at first,
Yeah.
and then those people who got banned like just caused an even bigger ruckus, and it
Yeah.
just got way out of hand.
Yeah,
So
and that can happen very quickly
yeah,
if you're not careful. I will say Andrew must do a great job of helping with the spam because I don't ever see anything. Now I'm not in the forums every day either, but they obviously do a great job of moderating over there, and he has a full time moderator too. So
he does. He has a full-time moderator, and I'm pretty sure there's some sort of AI element, which is
yes,
like my backup plan. Like I'm gonna have this bot that will query everything that people ask and
mm-hmm.
give me a number on the scale of like 1 to 100 in terms of promotional or abusive. That's the
Mm-hmm.
part that's a little tricky. And then it'll just instantly ban anyone, not ban anyone, but suspend that particular
Right,
message if it's like above a certain threshold, is what
right.
I was thinking.
So I do think that one of the things that is really cool about this, and I don't know, for me personally, it's a motivator. I can only assume it motivates other people as well. Is the whole seeing what you don't have access to, right? So I remember there was a website. I can't remember whose website it was. It might have been Smart Marketers. No, what was Ryan Dice's
Oh, a
community?
digital marketer.
Digital marketer. Like if he used to sell these like $10 courses, right? And really they were for if you owned a business, you bought like the Facebook course for your Facebook person, right? And they took that course and went through it. But when you so I bought one of the courses one time. I don't even remember what it was. And because it's like $9.99. Well, when you log into your course page, I think we've talked about this before. It had all of the courses that they had available, but they were all grayed out, and only the ones you had paid for were like bright, and you could click on it and you would access that curriculum. And I've seen other people do this over the years, and to me that's like super effective, right? And there was also some like bundling components to it, right? So it's like, well, if you buy one more course, that's another $9.99. But if you want to buy this whole suite of like social media, then that's a price that's cheaper than everything bought individually. And I felt like that was a huge motivating factor to upgrade. And I'm sure it was, they did very well in that time period. So I'm sure it was a very effective way. So I feel like getting people in the community and seeing like, oh, look, there's all these other places that you could be, but you don't have access to right now, will be a motivator.
Does Circle have the ability to moderate like programmatically?
That I don't know. I
Okay.
would assume probably not the way Discord does, just based on how the platform is built.
Right. Like on Discord, you can literally read in everyone's messages, run it through AI or whatever you want to do, and then
Yeah.
take action on whoever that person was.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
think to that level at all, for sure. Um, so
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
we'll
not to
see.
know if that's necessary even. I'm just like a paranoid guy.
Yeah.
I always plan for the worst, hope for the best.
Yeah. I will say and obviously we know people who have, Andrew's community is not cheap. But we know people who have, getting people to pay definitely helps with a lot of that, right? Like you're removing because we see this on webinars, right? Where people will spam and sort of, we don't get it a ton, but it does happen. But with a paywall, you're removing at least, 50% of that, if not more.
I think more than that. I think
Yeah.
even like $1
Yeah.
makes a huge difference. Just getting
Yeah.
someone to open up their wallet at all.
Now, will you have, will this be like a monthly recurring or a yearly, or you haven't thought that far ahead?
That's a
We
good
do
question.
monthly with a year membership being like obviously a discount to the monthly. It's very cheap right now, but that's our plan is to do monthly with pay for a year and get a substantial discount.
Yeah, I think with monthly, like there's always this huge hassle of credit cards expiring
Yeah.
and all that stuff. I see it right now with my payment plans.
Yeah.
Kind of a pain in the butt. Like assuming you want people to continue paying, right?
Right.
Obviously.
Right. If you don't care about money,
Like if you
it's
don't
fine.
care, like they lose access and then whatnot.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, you want to they've already opened up their wallets, so they're willing
Mm-hmm.
to pay the money. And so you almost need to have a person like reminding them to update their credit card and whatnot. So that's
Yeah.
like another hassle. Probably at the price point that I'm thinking for my community, I probably wouldn't even care. Probably just for the class, obviously it matters because we're talking hundreds of dollars a month,
Right.
right?
Right.
Um, and you can send out an automated email, but it just doesn't work as well as when you just send an email that says, "Hey, look, you know."
Right.
Yeah, I'm actually glad we're talking this out because I haven't spent too much time on the monetization part. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I just know it needs to cost something
Right.
because if someone opens up their wallet, they're probably not going to be like overly promotional
Mm-hmm.
or as
Yeah.
much as like someone who's just in there just to spam and run, right?
Right. Right.
And plus, I will have their information,
Right.
so I can easily ban them in the future,
Ban
and
them
I'll know
for
who they
life.
are.
So I think
Yeah.
when I'm thinking through what you're doing, because you have this really high priced product at $2,500. So let's just say you charge $49 a month for the community, right? That's a completely made up number. That seems so cheap, right? Do you think this will, so I can see this affecting the sales of the course initially. I don't think long term it will affect the sales of the course because I think when people get into the community and realize that like the course actually has all these, I don't even know how many hundred, we have almost 300 lessons in our course and it's way newer than what you've been doing. I can imagine people thinking like, well, let me try the $49 a month option because, $2,500 is steep. And then, maybe not convert, or maybe this is the way they do convert, right? Like, I'm not sure which way it'll go. Have you thought about that at all?
Um, that's a good question.
You're
I
like,
think what'll
no.
happen. Well, I think what'll happen is like I make most of my conversions these days on like the 3-day workshops that I do,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's when I can show and demonstrate like the true value of the full class.
Yeah.
And so the way I see it is you get someone in the community and then you get them to join these free workshops, then they'll see the value.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it's kind of like a gateway drug, and it's easier to get people into that workshop if they're already in the community. So, I
Mm-hmm.
really don't see that as a detriment. And for those of the community is going to be useful, but it's not going to be nearly as useful for getting answers
Right.
as like the full class, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Because you're depending on the community to answer, and then you have the bots not for the detailed lessons in the class. Like, here's the problem with like podcasts, YouTube, and blog. Let's just take YouTube, for example. You cannot go into too much depth on YouTube on the
Right.
actual implementation or the solution. Otherwise, that video is going to bomb.
Yeah.
Like YouTube is kind of meant for the masses. Likewise with the podcast. Like we're not going to go into this like huge in-depth tutorial on the podcast, right?
Right.
Interview with anyone. Whereas the class, you can actually get a lot more in depth on the actual implementation.
Yeah, I actually have a perfect example of this. So right now we're talking about communities, we're talking about Discord, we're talking about Circle. Liz is going to come on to Profitable Audience in a couple weeks and give a full breakdown of Circle, right?
Nice.
The setup, the in-depth. So for people who are considering it, this will be like your guide to whether this is the right decision, or if you've sort of already made up your mind, here are some cool things we found that it does, that kind of thing. We can't go into that on the podcast, right? It's
Oh
not
yeah.
feasible. Also, obviously this is video recorded, but we're not screen sharing, we're not showing, demonstrating types of things. So I totally agree with you. The depth that we go into on in the lessons in both classes is far greater than we could ever do in a podcast or on a video, a YouTube video. So yes, I totally think that's the case. I just hope, I don't know. I think it will be the gateway drug as well for people. Like they get in there, they see how much info. It's kind of like when I took your course a million years ago, right? Or I took your mini course, right? 2014, I think it was. And the amount of information you gave away for free in the mini course, in my mind, was like, well, if this is what you're giving away for free, what in the world would I get if I paid? Right? It was like this, it was a complete motivator based on how good the information was in the free product. And we teach this all the time, right? Like you want that information that you're giving away for free in your lead magnet or in your flow or YouTube series, whatever. We want that to be the best, because if people see what you're giving away, to me, it means what am I going to pay for then? Like, how amazing is this going to be? Like, what's the level of service if the level of service is already so high on the free tier? So I think that's what'll happen, but I'm curious to see it. Because
Here's actually how I see the community. It's like a much more improved version of an email list, right?
okay,
Because you're getting all these people together who you actually know and you can interact with,
yeah,
and they're much more likely to respond like when you tag everyone, for example, which is something you have to pay for in Circle, which I think is ridiculous, by the way.
yes.
So if I go,
I said there's a lot of things that I feel like are dumb, for sure.
so I can just go at everyone on Discord, hey, I'm giving a workshop, or hey, I'm going to be speaking at this event and whatnot, and
Mm-hmm.
people will instantly get their notification on their phone, which in theory should have much better deliverability on email, which has gotten a lot worse over the years. Let's just face
Yes.
it, right?
Yeah.
So actually, what I've been torn was, on my YouTube videos, I always say, hey, if you want to learn about e-commerce, take my 6-day mini course, which is my email lead magnet.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the right thing to do is to say, hey, join my Discord group or
So
something
that's
like
what
that.
we've been
Yeah.
doing on our TikToks is join. Well, we actually have them take the lead magnet quiz, but our push is to the community. Our push is not to the
To the
email
pay,
list.
but you're asking for a payment right up the front.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah. Now
interesting.
we're going back and forth with that, right? Like, are we gonna would we rather? And since we are basically starting from zero, right? We've gone back and forth. So now we're kind of experimenting between take the quiz and join the community. Our community price is so low, we have had people just join the community because it's very cheap. But eventually, it's not going to be, right. It's not going to always be this inexpensive. So at some point,
How much are you charging right now?
$9 a month. So it's like
Oh,
a
nine.
no-brainer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I say that hopefully it's still $9 a month when you listen to this podcast. But It should be.
You're like,
Uh,
I got 10 members. I'm
yeah.
overwhelmed.
Yeah. I know. It's like I'm paying for my circle fee. We're good. Um, but no, but like to me, our quiz is really good. Like I feel like our lead magnet is exactly what it needs. I feel like we like really nailed that. And so to me, part of me is like, I don't know. We're also converting people into the community from the email list. So one of the things that we're doing, because we do a weekly accountability chat, basically, where people, basically one of the pieces of feedback I got from Lars at ECF was my wife has joined a lot of like communities, but she feels like it's just all fluff and no action. And so one of the things that we're really focused on is having people take action on the next steps in whatever they're doing, right? Because our community isn't for digital content creators. It's for any like female CEO. So it could be, managing a team or doing something completely different than like what we do with our courses. So every time we just started this, so I have no, I don't have any data, but to remind people about the accountability check-in, I send an email, but I send it to the whole list, which is not very big. And as the list grows, probably will not be able to do this long term, but as the list is small, I say, hey, guess what? Today or tomorrow, whenever I send it, our accountability check-in is this day at this time. Can't wait to see you there. Oh, but by the way, if you're not a member of the community, you can join so you can be with us in that accountability chat. Click here. Right. And I think we've converted 2 people off of that from an exceptionally small list. So like, to me, that's a win. And I think at a low price point, that is a way to convert people. Right. So for you, probably more difficult because your main,
I tried that accountability thing. It would end up being a disaster. Well, I wouldn't say disaster, but people would purposely not show up because they they didn't want me to
yes,
ask, right?
we've experienced that for sure. But
Yeah,
the people who are joining our group are only joining for accountability. Like that's the point of our
right.
whole program, right? Is we take your archetype and we help you figure out your pain points through your type A archetype. So anyway, but I would say that might be a ploy for you because you have a large general email list, right? When you launch the community, let's just say you're doing your check-in or your ask me, let's call them ask me anythings, right? So you're doing your ask me anythings Thursday at 10 a.m., right? Let's just say. So at, Wednesday night, you send out an email and say, hey, don't forget to join us for Thursday Ask Me Anything. Oh, not in the community? Join here so you can be with us tomorrow.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And if
Yep.
the price point's low enough, like for us, it's very low for us. I'm sure for you, it's going to be a very affordable price point. That might be a way to get more people into the community, right? Is that urgency like, hey, we're going live in 12 hours, right? Or whatever it is.
I talked to Spencer about this. He actually left his community free in the beginning just to get people in and
Right.
chatting and whatnot. Uh, I don't think I'm bold enough to do that because that's just inviting spam. Like
Yeah.
I've had like mini Facebook groups before that were wide open, and like
They
it's
get
just
bad quick.
spam. It's just I had to close my wife quit community, which I think it has like 20,000 people in
Yeah,
it.
it got big, but you had so much spam in there. I remember that.
Yeah, so the point is like I had to approve every post towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so like
Huge time
I
suck.
can't handle that. I can't
Yeah.
handle that at all. So that's why I think it's important to charge a little bit. So I'll probably charge like super little just to get,
Yeah.
some
Well,
people in
that
there.
was our theory is like charge a little bit in the beginning, get your, founding members type thing in, and then obviously they get grandfathered in on the pricing, but then you just continue to creep it up.
Yeah, and my mentality is like an alternative email list. So I don't really need to profit off of this, to be honest with you. I just need to be able to pay like a moderator, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and it will just be a way to communicate with a lot of people. And I don't know if that's your goal with yours, but for me, I actually don't care about the money that comes in per se in the beginning.
Yeah. Our goal is a little bit different. Our goal is the community is the goal, right?
Right.
So, but a very focused, not just female only, but type A female. We had a couple type B females reach out, very disappointed. I said, well, we're not qualified to make a type B community because neither of us are. But our goal is different, right? Our goal is to build the community into a revenue source. And so I think in that way, we'll probably build it a little bit differently. But I think in the end, the goal is always the same, right? You want an active community where people are actually getting help and benefiting from being in there and being willing to continue to be a part of the community and like the way communities work is that it's not just me and you investing in the people in Discord, right? It's the people in Discord investing in each other.
Yeah.
And so that's our goal with what Liz and I are doing as well. But, the way you have to do that in the beginning is definitely you as the owner have to be in there. You have to be investing and you have to be making it something that's exciting for people to be a part of.
I mean, I can already picture what's going to happen with mine. In my dark mind, like I'm going to
Okay.
see a bunch of agencies and whatever join,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then just try to be very helpful, and then slip in. Oh, by the way, I run an.
Yeah, because we teach that.
So I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, how am I going to prevent that from happening? You
Right.
know, so maybe I'll have to screen to see, what people do.
Yeah.
So that's why, in my mind, at least, this is feeling like a lot of work in the beginning. So we'll see. Like that's why I'm fully willing to just refund the person and call it a day. Like if this
Yes.
experiment doesn't work out, but
Will
I
there
think
be
it'll
a
be fine.
I think it'll be fun. Will there be a big announcement when people can join? I'm sure you're going to get emails like, "Can I join? Where is this? Let me join right now." So, are we going to do a big announcement when this happens? Where should people look to find out when this is available?
I mean, just join my email list right now. So if you just
Okay.
go over to mywifequitherjob.com and then just sign up for the mini course, and then you'll be on my list at that point, and then I'll make the announcement there, as well as text also.
So, and before we close it out, I have to give a shout out to someone I met at ECF. I was having a conversation during one of the parties with our friend Danny, who actually is my neighbor. I didn't know we lived so close to each other.
Uh-huh.
And his former business partner was sitting there, and he said, "Your voice sounds so familiar." And I was like, "It does?" Ugh. And he's like, "I hear you on," he's like, "Are you on Steve's podcast?" So shout out to Patrick, who recognized my nasally gross voice. Uh, that was pretty fun. I was like, "Oh, that's kind of fun that someone recognized me from my voice." Also a little weird, but very, very exciting. So that was, I think it's the first time it's ever happened. Like, people know me from the podcast, obviously, but that was the first time someone just had only heard me and never seen me and recognized the voice. So I thought that was kind of fun.
And there we go. The easiest way into Tony's heart is
That's
to
right.
just recognize her voice. She just wants to be recognized,
Just
folks.
want to be recognized.
She just
Come
wants to
on.
be recognized.